Good morning, students. Welcome in Science 1 lecture. We are continuing the same chapter, acid, base, and salt. Today's our topic is salt. Okay. My name is Gautam Mankar from Ganesh Nagar MPS Secondary School, Kandivali West. Now, in earlier lecture, we had discussed about the acid, base, the reaction of acid and base with each other and with metals, non-metals, their hydroxides, their oxides, their carbonates, etc. Today, we are going to learn about the salt, which is a byproduct in the reaction of acid and base. The types of salt. Now, most of you know about the salt that is found in the sea, water, or on the mountains, etc. See here in this figure, there are 10 types of different salts given here. Sea salt, kosher salt, Himalayan salt, silky, kala namak, flake salt, black lava salt, Helia salt, Jukemon salt, smoke. There are various lots of salts found on the earth and are different in their structure, taste, configuration, etc. So we have to learn about the salt on the basis of their nature, the acidic salt, basic salt, and neutral salts. For this purpose, let us perform an activity. Prepare 10 ml aqueous solution from 1 gram each of sodium chloride, ammonium chloride, sodium bicarbonate, etc. We have to take a 3 salt and have to prepare a 10 ml aqueous solution taking 1 gram of each salt, that is sodium chloride, ammonium chloride, and sodium bicarbonate. Measure the pH of each solution by means of pH paper. Now, after making a solution of these salts, we have to measure its pH by pH paper. Are the values of same for all three? Classify the salts based on the pH value. Now we have to see by checking the pH paper of the solution made by us whether the pH show same value for all the three solutions. If not, then classify the salts. Classify the salts on the basis of pH value. We have seen that salts are formed by reaction between acid and bases. So this reaction is called neutralization reaction. Yesterday we learned what is neutralization reaction. Neutralization reaction is the reaction between acid and base which gives as a byproduct salt and water. So salt are formed by the reaction of acid and base in neutralization reaction. The resulting salts are not always neutral. But when we get a salt from neutralization reaction, the resulting salts are not always neutral. They may be sometimes acidic or sometimes basic. A neutral salt is formed by neutralization of a strong acid by a strong base. When we get a neutral salt, only when in the neutralization reaction we are taking strong acid and strong base as a reactant. Otherwise, we don't get a neutral salt. Among these two, strong acid and strong base, one is strong acid and another is not a strong base, then obviously we get a acidic salt, not a neutral salt. It means we need acid and base of same characteristic or of same strength. Then only we get a neutral salt. The aqueous solution of neutral salt has a pH value equals to 7. On knowing the pH scale, we know that the 7 indicates the neutral of the solution. 7 indicates the pH of 7 number shows neutral of the solution. Less than 7 number shows acidic characteristic, and greater than 7 number on the pH paper shows basic characteristic. The acetic salt is formed by the neutralization reaction between a strong acid and a weak base. Now, you may underline on your textbook That is, acidic salt formed by neutralization reaction between a strong acid and weak base. When the acid is strong and base is weak, we get acidic salt because the acidic strength is more in the neutralization reaction. Therefore, the byproduct formed salt is acidic in nature. The pH of the aqueous solution of the acidic salt is less than 7. The pH shows the value less than 7. Therefore, it is acidic in nature. On contrary, the basic salt is formed by a neutralization reaction between a weak acid and a strong base. Now see, when we get a basic salt, when we are taking reacted as a weak acid and strong base, the strength of base is more than the strength of acid. The base is powerful. Therefore, in this reaction, when we make a reaction of acid and base, the base strength is more compared to the acid. So as a byproduct, we are getting salt. It's basic in nature. The strong base dominates and the salt we obtain is shows basic salt, basic its character. The pH of an aqueous solution of such a basic salt is greater than 7. The pH value of such a solution of such a salt, aqueous salt, shows pH value greater than 7. It is in basic in nature. Now, classify the following salts into types: acidic, basic, and neutral. In your textbook, these salts are given, in which I am already classified it into the acidic, basic, and neutral salt. The sodium sulfate, showing in red color, is acidic in nature. Potassium chloride, showing in red color, is acidic in nature. Ammonium nitrate, showing in black color, is neutral. Sodium carbonate, showing in purple color, is basic in nature. And sodium acetate in red color is acidic in nature. Sodium chloride is neutral. In this way, we have classified those salts given in your textbook. Complete the reaction in the following table. Now, on the basis of the reaction, we have to complete this table. Carbonates of metal, carbonate salt of metal plus dilute acid gives another salt of metal and carbon dioxide. Now, carbonate salt of a metal. When metal reacts with carbon compound, it gives carbonate salt of metal like Na2CO3. Sodium carbonate, carbonate of sodium metal, when reacts with dilute HCl, hydrochloric acid, when sodium carbonate reacts with hydrochloric acid, the product formed is NaCl, salt of sodium, and carbon dioxide, where NaCl is aqueous and carbon dioxide is a gas. Another one given here is sodium carbonate Na2CO3 in solid state when reacts with H2SO4. Sulfuric acid in aqueous state gives product as a Na2SO4 sodium sulfate, aqueous, and carbon dioxide as a gas. So this one is a blank given in your textbook. You can fill from this. CaCO3, calcium carbonate in solid state when reacts with nitric acid, it gives calcium nitrate and carbon dioxide. When potassium carbonate, K2CO3 in solid state, react with H2SO4. H2SO4 is a sulfuric acid. When potassium carbonate reacts with sulfuric acid, gives potassium sulfate and carbon dioxide. Potassium sulfate in aqueous state and carbon dioxide as in gaseous state. Another one table we have to fill: bicarbonate salt of metal plus dilute acid gives another salt of metal plus carbon dioxide plus water. The reaction of two reactant gives three product, that is salt, carbon dioxide and water also. So let us solve this. NHCO3, sodium bicarbonate, this is the sodium bicarbonate in solid state reacts with hydrochloric acid in aqueous state, gives NaCl as a salt, CO2 gas and H2O water in liquid state. Another one, KHCO3, potassium bicarbonate in solid state when reacts with the HNO3, nitric acid in aqueous state, gives potassium nitrate, carbon dioxide and water. H2O is a water. The third one is NaHCO3, sodium bicarbonate reacts with carboxylic acid. This one is a carboxylic acid. CH3COOH gives product as a CH3CONA, sodium carboxylate and carbon dioxide and water as a byproduct. The reaction of two reactants gives three products. The next topic is water of crystallization. What does it actually mean? Water of crystallization. To understand water of crystallization, let us perform this activity. Take some crystals of blue vitriol in two test tubes. Blue vitriol is nothing but copper sulfate. Blue vitriol is nothing but copper sulfate. This one is CuSO4 and 5H2O. CuSO4 and 5H2O. This one is a water molecules present with CuSO4, copper sulfate. So blue vitriol is nothing but copper sulfate with water. We have to take this blue vitriol in test tube, add some water in one test tube and shake it. Now we have to add water with blue vitriol in one test tube and have to shake it. What did you see? What is the color of the solution formed? On doing so, we observe that the blue vitriol becomes blue when we add water in it, and when we shake it, it becomes blue in color. The blue vitriol becomes blue when we add water and shake it. Heat the other test tube on low flame of a burner. Now another one we have to heat. What did you see? What change did occur in the color of the blue vitriol? What did you see in the upper part of the test tube? When the second test tube cools down, add some water in it and shake. What is the color of the resulting solution? What inference can be drawn from this observation? Now, all the answers of these questions in this activity can be understood on performing this activity. For this purpose, we have to take a test tube and blue vitriol in it, two test tube and blue vitriol in it. Draw some water in one test tube containing blue vitriol. The blue vitriol become bluish in color, and the another one, the test tube containing blue vitriol, heat it using burner. You will observe that blue vitriol becomes whitish in color. See here. Here we are giving flame to the blue vitriol kept in test tube. So on giving flame or heat to this test tube, it becomes whitish in color. This is whitish in color. And when we add water drop to the blue vitriol, it becomes bluish in color as the drop water drops. As we drop this water to the blue vitriol, it becomes bluish in color. Okay, So we will answer these questions on by performing this. On heating, the crystal structure of blue vitriol broke down to form a colorless powder and water came out. This water was part of the crystal structure of blue vitriol. It is called water of crystallization. Now this is the definition of water of crystallization. The crystalline structure of blue vitriol broke down to form a colorless powder and water came out. This water was a part of the crystal structure of blue vitriol. Now water is the part of a crystal structure. Water is a part of crystal structure. It means this is a sample of blue vitriol. This is the crystal. Okay. In this crystal, inside of it, there are some gaps, and there present some water molecules which gives characteristics to the blue vitriol and give color to this blue vitriol. When blue vitriol get heated, it becomes white. It becomes white. Earlier, the blue vitriol contained water molecule in it. After heating, the water molecules get separate and it becomes white. On adding water to the white powder, a solution was formed which had the same color as the solution in the first test tube. From this, we come to know that no chemical change has occurred in the crystal of blue vitriol due to heating. Losing water on heating blue vitriol, breaking down of the crystal structure, losing blue color, and regaining blue color on adding water, all are physical change. Now the change of color is sometimes chemical change, but here in this example of changing color of blue vitriol is not a chemical change, it is only a physical change. When the water molecule present inside the crystal structure, the blue vitriol gives bluish color, but when after heating, the water molecules get evaporated or get out of the structure, get out of the crystal structure of this blue vitriol, the blue vitriol becomes white in color. Hence, only the presence of water molecules inside the crystal gives it color, and after losing the water molecule, the colors change. Hence, the change of this color is physical change in blue vitriol. Okay, apparatus, evaporating dish, Bunsen burner, tripod stand, wire gauge, etc. Now, whatever we had discussed till the water of crystallization, here is the molecules, here is the structure water of crystallization. These red circles are molecules of blue vitriol and small blue circles are molecules of water present in the gap. These are some gaps in the structure, crystal structure of blue vitriol, and water present in this gap get evaporate when the blue vitriol is heated, and again on adding water to it, these gaps are get filled up by the molecules of water. The presence of these molecules and the leaving of these molecules is only responsible for the color of blue vitriol. Therefore, the change of color is physical change. Okay. To understand, we have to perform this activity. Take a small stone of alum in evaporating dish. Keep the dish on tripod stand and heat it with the help of burner. What did you see in the dish? What is meant by puffed alum? Ionic compounds are crystalline in nature. These crystals are formed as a result of definite arrangement of ions. In the crystals of some compound, water molecules are also included in this arrangement. This is the water of crystallization. The water of crystallization is present in a definite proportion of the chemical formula of the compound. It is indicated in the chemical formula as shown below. Now there, this is how it is showing. After on hitting the alarm, it changes. It shows some change due to because only of the presence of water molecules in the gaps of this molecule. And earlier also we have seen on hitting the blue vitriols, it turns whitish, and on adding water to it becomes bluish, and this is due to only the presence of water molecules in the graph of this crystal. Some examples of crystalline blue vitriols with formula copper sulfate, CuSO4, and 5 molecules of H2O. Crystalline ferrous sulfate, green vitriol, is FeSO4 and 7 molecules of water along with the 7 molecules of water. Ferrous sulfate, green vitriol, this one is a green vitriol. This one is blue vitriol. This one is alum. Alum Fitkari, everyone know. Crystalline washing soda, Na2CO3, washing soda, sodium carbonate with 10 molecules of water. Crystalline alum, K2SO4, Al2SO4, 24 molecules of water. This alum contains most number of water molecules inside of its crystal. Crystalline substance contain water of crystallization. Means whenever we are example of substance, always a crystalline substance contains some water molecules inside of it. It is called water of crystallization. There are number of crystalline substance present in earth, on the earth or inside of the earth, and every of the crystalline substance contain water of crystallization. The molecules of water of crystallization are part of the internal arrangement of the crystal. Now, whatever amount of water molecules present inside the crystal are internal, are part of internal arrangement of the crystal. This is actually makes the compound to arrange it well. For the definite arrangement, for the proper arrangement, the molecules of water present inside the crystal on heating or just by keeping the water of crystallization is lost, and the crystalline shape of that part is lost. Now on heating or just keeping the crystal exposed to air, what happened? The water molecules present inside the crystal get evaporated, and the crystalline shape of that part is lost. It becomes a powder. It becomes powder. It becomes smooth because the crystalline nature it get lost when the water molecules get evaporated or get lost from its structure. Now next topic is ionic compound and electrical conductivity. Now what is meant by ionic compound and electrical conductivity? Since everyone know the electricity conducts through conductor or wires inside our home, but there are some solutions, liquid solutions, which can also conduct electricity. These are known as ionic compounds. On dissolving it with some solvent, making solution of some ionic compound, it conducts electricity. It conducts some electricity. To understand this well, let us perform this activity.
हॅलो प्रशांत थोडा थांब ना अर्ध्या तास
बर बर ठीक
Activity. To understand the conductivity, electrical conductivity of ionic compound, let us perform this activity. To perform this activity, let us prepare a solution of 1 gram sodium chloride in 50 ml water. Prepare a solution of 1 gram sodium chloride in 50 ml water. We have to take 50 ml water and 1 gram of sodium chloride means salt and dissolve in it. It makes a solution. Take 2 electrical wire. These are the wires. Connected one wire to the positive terminal of 6 voltage battery. This one is a battery. Okay, of 6 volt. We have to connect these wires to 2 terminals of battery. While connecting other wire to the negative terminal of the battery, include one switch and one holder with an electric bulb. Here is electric bulb, here is a switch, and other end is dipped inside the salt solution. Include one switch and holder with electric bulb. Remove the insulating cladding from 3 cm portion of the other free ends of the 2 wire. Take the salt solution in 100 ml capacity beaker and immerse the uncovered ends of the 2 wires in it, keeping the wire erect with the help of a support. Switch on the current. Note whether the bulb will glow. Now we have to dip these wires inside the solution and switch it on and observe whether bulb glow or not. Okay, and immerse the uncovered ends of the 2 wires. Repeat the same procedure using solution of 1 gram copper sulfate, 1 gram glucose, 1 gram urea, 5 ml dilute H2SO4 sulfuric acid, and 5 ml dilute sodium hydroxide, each in 50 ml water. Record your observation in table. Do not forget to clean the beaker and uncover part of the wires with water every time you change the solution. Now we have to perform this activity for different solutions. Solution of copper sulfate, glucose, urea, dilute sulfuric acid, dilute sodium hydroxide, water, etc. Okay, and we have to observe whether the current flows through the circuit or not when we have to take a different solution. The bulb glows only when electric current passes through it. It's obvious that whenever the electric current passes, then only the bulb glows, otherwise the bulb will not glow. And this happens only when the electric circuit is complete. In the above activity, circuit is found to be complete with the aqueous solution of sodium chloride, that is salt, CaSO4 copper sulfate, H2SO4 sulfuric acid, and NaOH are used. Sodium hydroxide are used. Now, what remains? 1 gram of glucose do not conduct electricity. Urea do not conduct electricity. Okay. It means that these solutions conductors of electricity. Only these solutions. Solution of NaCl, solution of copper sulfate, solution of hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, and solution of NaOH, sodium hydroxide, gives are only conductors of electricity. Only the bulb glows when we dip the electrodes in the solution. The electricity will not conduct when we take the solution of glucose and urea. Electrons conduct electricity through electrical wires. Now, who conduct electricity or what conducts the electricity? Actually, electrons conduct the electricity through electrical wires, and ions conduct electricity through a liquid or a solution. Through the wire, electron conduct electricity, and in liquid, ion conducts electricity. See, these are negative ions, these are positive ions, which are responsible for the conduct of electricity inside the solution, and electrons are responsible to conduct the electricity in solid wire. Electron leaves the battery at the negative terminal, complete the electric circuit, and enter the battery at the positive terminal. This is the negative terminal. Electron eject from this, goes like this, enters the solution, moves to another electrode, and from there it passes to the positive terminal. Electron leaves battery at the negative terminal, complete the electric circuit, and enter the battery at the positive terminal. When there is a liquid or a solution in the circuit, two rods, wire or plates are immersed in it. Since this is a one plate, or you can also use a rod, this one is another plate. These are called electrodes. These are electrodes. These plates are called electrodes. Okay. Electrodes are usually made of conducting solid. These are conducting, means it is made up of metals. The electrode connected to a negative terminal of a battery by means of a conducting wire is called cathode. Since this is a battery, this is a negative terminal of battery, this is positive terminal of battery. The conducting plate, the electrode connected to the negative terminal of the battery is called cathode. It's called cathode. The question may be asked in the exam. Define cathode. Cathode is the electrode connected to the negative terminal of the battery, and the electrode connected to the positive terminal of the battery is known as anode. So this is the difference of anode and cathode. Everyone should know. Okay. The electrodes connected to negative terminal of the battery by means of a conducting wire is called cathode, and the electrode connected to the positive terminal of the battery is called an anode. Why does the electric circuit get completed on immersing the electrodes in certain liquid or solution? In order to understand this phenomena, let us look more closely at the solutions in the above activity which were found to be electrical conductors. Now, why this is so happen? Why electricity conduct through the solution? Why this is so happen? To understand this, let us study it more in detail. Dissociation of ions and electrical conductivity. In the above activity, it is found that the aqueous solution of the compounds NaCl, CaSO4, H2SO4, and NaOH are electrical conductors. The first activity we perform for the electrical conductivity, in which the solution of salt, copper sulfate, sulfuric acid, and sodium hydroxide are only conducts electricity. Out of these, HCl and H2SO4 are salt. NaCl and copper sulfate are salt, where H2SO4 sulfuric acid is an acid which is a strong acid, and NaOH is a base, strong base. We have seen that salts, strong acid, and strong base dissociates almost completely in their aqueous solution. Therefore, aqueous solutions of all these three contains large number of cations and anions. Now what happened? The salt, the strong acid, and strong base dissociates. Dissociate means the Na ions and OH negative ions get separated when we make their aqueous solution. This is a strong base gets separated as NO, Na plus, and OH negative as ions. Here H2SO4 hydrogen and sulfate ions get separated with positive and negative charge. Here NaCl, Na and Cl, Na positive, Cl negative charge ions get separated in the aqueous solution. Similarly, Cu plus SO4 negative ions get separated, and the ions which having a charge of positive and negative get separated on attaching the battery to the electrodes. These ions get moved towards the electrode. The negative ions attract towards the positive electrode, that is anode, and positive ions attract towards the negative electrode, that is cathode. In this movement of ions produces electricity in the solution. It conducts electricity in the solution. A characteristics of the liquid state in the mobility of its particles. A characteristics of a liquid state is mobility of its particle. Now, in liquid state, what happens? Particles move. Actually, it moves. So the movement of particles actually causes electricity in aqueous solution or in any of the solution. So the electricity caused in the solution is due to the movement or the motion of particles. Particles like positive ions or negative ions. The movement of positive ions and negative ions causes conducts electricity inside the solution. When we attach these electrodes to a battery, the current starts flowing. The electrons from negative terminal of the battery leaves the battery, enters the solution and move towards the positive terminal of the battery. In this way, the circuit completes and current start flowing. Whenever you attach a bulb in the middle of the circuit, bulb start glow. Due to this mobility, the positive charge cations in the solution are attracted towards the negative electrode. Due to this mobility, what happened? Positive charge cations, this is positive cations in the solution are attracted towards the negative electrode or cathode and move towards cathode. On the other hand, the negatively charged anions move in the direction of the anode. See, this is a cathode having a negative charge. So cations of positive ions move towards it. And this is an anode with positive charge. So the anions of negative charge ions move towards it. The ions with negative charge called anions, ions with positive charge called cations, the electrode with negative charge called cathode, electrode with positive charge called anode. Don't get confused in this naming. When you learn it or read it by yourself this chapter, you will understand or remember well these four words: cathode, anode, cation, anion. Cation and anion are actually ions. Positive ion is cation, negative ion is anion. And cathode and anode are electrode immersed in the solution. The cathode is of negatively charged and anode is of positively charged. The movement of ions in the solution towards the respective electrodes amounts to the conduct of electricity through the solution. This movement of ions actually is responsible for the conduct of electricity through the solution. From this, you will understand that those liquids or solutions which contain a large number of dissociated ions conduct electricity. Large the number of ions dissociate, more is the conduct of electricity. So, uh, whichever the compound dissociates large in quantity, dissociates means get its ions separated, like NaCl, Na and Cl, Na positive and Cl negative ions get separated. The more the strength of separation or the dissociation to the ions dissociates mean the power of get separation. More is the power of dissociation, more the ion forms and more electricity conducts. Okay, so dissociation means the separation of ions in aqueous solution. The compound get splitted into its ions. Like NaCl, Na positive and Cl negative get separated. The more is the dissociation, more is the conduct of electricity. Okay, now what we learned in this lecture, we discussed about the salt, the types of salt, based on acidic characteristic, basic characteristics, and neutral salt. Acidic salts form when the neutralization reaction occurs between a strong acid and weak base. More is the strength of acid, the salt form is acidic. Another one, when we get a basic salt, more is the strength of base in the neutralization reaction, The salt form is basic in nature. And when the neutral salt are obtained, when the strong acid and strong base reacts with each other, we get neutral salt. It show pH value equals to 7. The basic salt show pH value greater than 7, and acidic salt show pH value less than 7. We complete the blanks in this table with the help of the reaction of the salts and acid. Then we have discussed the water of crystallization. In the water of crystallization, we are taking the example of blue vitriol. The blue vitriol turns white and turns blue in color. When we heat the blue vitriol, it becomes white in color, and when we drop of water drops inside of the blue vitriol, it becomes blue in color. Hence, the change of color is the physical change caused only due to the presence of water molecules inside the crystal structure of this blue vitriol. When water present inside the blue vitriol, it looks like a blue in color. When water present inside the blue vitriol, it becomes white in color. Hence, the change of color is the physical change caused due to the presence of water. These are some images performed to show the change of color in blue vitriol. Here the water droplets turning the color blue of this blue vitriol, and here water droplets do not reach, therefore it is white in color. The blue vitriol actually looks like this: CaSO4 along with 5 molecules of H2O actually look like this. When we heat it, these 5 molecules of water gets evaporated and the blue color turns white. When we heat the when we heat this powder or this crystal, this is actually happen because of the places between the molecules of copper sulfate. There are gaps, and these gaps are filled with water. When the water present in these gaps of molecules, this substance looks like a blue in color. When we heat it, the gaps are no longer filled with water. The water molecules get evaporated, get disappeared from here. The product or the substance look like white in color. Now we have seen about different types of salts, that is gypsum, copper sulfate, green vitriol, alum, washing soda, etc. We have also seen about the characteristics or properties of crystalline substance. The crystalline